The Stonehaven Asylum for the Mentally Infirm loomed ominously on the windswept hill, a crumbling relic of despair from a bygone era. Built in the late 1800s, it had once housed the fragile minds of countless souls. Its dark practices and overcrowding sealing its fate in 1978. Now, its silhouette, jagged and foreboding against the twilight sky, served as a warning for those who dared to approach. David, a freelance photographer with a penchant for urban exploration, found himself irresistibly drawn to its haunting presence. He had persuaded his friend Lena, a cautious historian with a heart full of empathy for the past, to accompany him on this risky venture. They were not ghost hunters, he assured her. Merely documentarians seeking to capture the vestiges of human experiences entwined within the asylum's decaying walls. They packed their gear with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Cameras, EMF meters which were more a joke than a tool, and robust flashlights to pierce the darkness. Their first challenge materialized in the form of a towering fence crowned with rusted barbed wire. With a shared glance of determination, they discovered a gap left by earlier explorers and slipped through. Standing before Stonehaven, they felt its oppressive weight. Vines strangled the walls, nature reclaiming what mankind had forsaken. The main entrance, flanked by massive oak doors, was chained shut. But a shattered side window offered a dark invitation that beckoned them inside. As they stepped into the asylum, the air enveloped them like a heavy shroud, thick, stale, infused with the sense of decay, mold, and a metallic tang that pricked at their senses. The silence was profound, an all-consuming quiet that swallowed their footsteps and whispers, amplifying the tension that crackled between them. They ventured into the main administrative wing, where Lena's historian's heart raced at the sight of artifacts lost to time. Decaying patient files littered the floor, a rusted typewriter stood like a forgotten sentinel, and a wall calendar hung frozen on October 1978, each item whispering stories of the lives once lived here. David set up his camera, the flash illuminating the peeling paint and long, shadowy corridors that faded into the unknown. "It's sad, isn't it?" Lena murmured, her fingers brushing the dust on a nurse's station. "So many lives just left here." David snapped a photo, his voice steady. "It's just a building, Lena. Bricks and memories." As they delved deeper into the asylum's belly, the atmosphere morphed. The administrative wing felt deserted, but the patient wards vibrated with an unsettling energy. They found themselves in a hallway lined with small, cell-like rooms. Metal bed frames lay bolted to the floor, stripped of their mattresses, while in one room, a solitary leather restraint coiled like a serpent in a forgotten corner. Lena shivered, her instincts flaring. "I'm getting a really bad feeling in this section, David. Let's move on." Yet David remained captivated, stepping into a room to frame a shot of the empty bed frame silhouetted against the grimy window. As he pressed the shutter, the camera flash momentarily revealed a figure standing in the doorway behind him, gaunt, pale, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. Heart racing, he spun around, but the doorway was empty. "Did you see that?" he gasped, breathless. "See what?" Lena's voice was tight with apprehension. "Nothing," he deflected, desperation clinging to him. "Just a trick of the light." Pushing onward, the silence thickened around them. They stumbled into a common room where skeletal chairs formed a circle, and an old tube-style television sat shrouded in dust. As they passed, the television crackled to life with a sudden burst of static, jolting them into a paralyzed surprise. An image flickered on the screen, a black-and-white shot of the very room they occupied, hauntingly empty. Then the static returned, silencing the screen once more. "Power's been cut for decades," David whispered, skepticism wavering. Lena pointed at the floor, her voice barely above a whisper. "Look." In the thick dust lay a set of fresh footprints, small, bare feet, leading toward a door marked hydrotherapy. Fear became a living entity, gripping them as morbid curiosity propelled them forward. The hydrotherapy room unfolded like a chamber of horrors, its centerpiece a large, rust-stained porcelain tub with leather straps hanging from its sides. The air was frigid and damp, sending chills down their spines as David raised his camera, hands trembling. He snapped a photo of the tub, the flash illuminating the grim scene. Click. In the after image, he saw it, an emaciated body lying in the dry tub, straps holding it down. Water dripped from its open mouth, and in the fleeting light, the figure appeared more vivid. In a panic, David fumbled for more shots, each flash revealing the same horror, a pale body, eyes wide open, staring back at him. "David, stop!" Lena cried, her voice laced with desperation. "We have to go!" Transfixed, he could only stare through the lens, feeling a chill grip his heart. The body was still there, a bony finger slowly rising, pointing directly at him. He stumbled backward, terror propelling him. "We're leaving, now!" They ran, their flashlights flickering wildly as the corridors twisted around them, disorienting them with every turn. The air chilled further, filled with a new sound, a soft, collective weeping that echoed from every room, followed by the ominous slamming of heavy doors, sealing them within the asylum's heart. A loud, metallic bang resounded from a distant corridor, the sound of latches throwing open. It came from the violent patient wing. Lena clutched David's arm, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It's hurting us." With no choice, they fled from the clanging doors, finding solace in a new section, thick with the stench of antiseptic and burnt flesh, the operating theater. At its center stood a rusted surgical table, while stained tools lay scattered like remnants of forgotten tragedies. Scrawled on the wall in what appeared to be old filth were the words, "Don't let them cut." That's when they heard it, the heavy footsteps, deliberate and slow, echoing down the hall. Clack, clack, clack. They hid behind a broken cabinet, hearts racing, breaths shallow. The footsteps entered the room, revealing a shadow that shifted across the floor, the silhouette of a tall man in a doctor's cap, humming a tuneless drone as he inspected the scattered tools. Terror clawing at his chest, David peeked around the cabinet. The room appeared empty, yet the humming lingered. Right next to his ear. They burst from their hiding place, sprinting for the exit, desperate to escape. They stumbled down a staircase, falling more than running, until they found themselves in the cavernous basement, the final stop. In the center stood a massive, cold furnace, its door yawning open like a gaping maw. Surrounding it was a mountain of small white objects. They stepped closer, their flashlights revealing the harrowing truth. They were children's shoes, tiny, worn leather boots. Little Mary Jane's, scuffed sneakers, each one a mute testament to the lives lost within these walls. Overwhelmed by grief and horror, they stood paralyzed, realizing it was not just a singular ghost they faced, but the accumulated sorrow of every soul that had suffered here, pressing down on them like a weight. As they grappled with the magnitude of their surroundings, a single white shoe tumbled from the top of the pile, landing at Lena's feet, shattering their resolve. They fled, scrambling through a broken basement window, bursting into the cold, clean night air, gasping for breath like drowning victims. Never again would they return. David's camera revealed nothing but corrupted images of swirling gray static, yet the memories etched themselves into their minds indelibly. A year later, Stonehaven was demolished, yet David often hears in the stillness of the night the haunting echo of clack, clack, like hard-soled shoes approaching. Lena, on the other hand, can never pass a shoe store without envisioning that mountain of tiny, empty shoes, a silent testament to the horrors of a world that had turned away. The asylum may have been razed, but its echo remained, a permanent resident, whispering in the quiet spaces of their minds.